The air crackled with anticipation as Jin surveyed the smoldering ruins of the ancient fortress. The battle with the gatekeeper was over, but his ordeal was far from it. The strange map recovered from the fallen beast had revealed a new objective: the first shadow sigil. This relic was not just any artifact. It was an ancient sigil bound to the very essence of the Shadow King's bloodline. But before we delve into this exciting adventure, let me ask you a question. Are you ready to join our community where fans of solo leveling come together to discuss the series? But wait, there's more. As a member, you'll be among the first to know when new content is released, so don't miss out. Join our community today. Now back to the captivating world of Shadowborn. With the map clutched tightly in his hand, Jin navigated through the charred remains of the fortress, each step echoing the destruction that had occurred here. The once mighty gatekeeper lay defeated, its colossal form reduced to smoldering ashes. But amidst the desolation, a flicker of energy caught Jin's keen eye. It was faint, almost imperceptible, yet it resonated with the dark energy thrumming within him. As he cautiously approached the source, the ground beneath his feet trembled slightly. The energy intensified, and what emerged from the rubble was nothing short of extraordinary. Before him stood an intricately carved obsidian monolith, its surface adorned with archaic symbols that writhed like living things. At its core, a faint blue light pulsed, beckoning him closer. Jin, with his instincts honed by countless battles, immediately sensed the profound power emanating from the monolith. He knew instinctively that this was no ordinary relic. It was the first shadow sigil, a tangible link to the Shadow King's heritage. As he reached out to touch it, the symbols on the monolith flared to life, bathing the surroundings in an eerie blue light. A surge of energy coursed through him, and fragmented memories, emotions, and experiences flooded his mind. It was overwhelming, disorienting, yet strangely familiar. With effort, Jin pushed through the torrent of sensations, seeking to make sense of the deluge of information. He saw visions of a time long past, of a formidable warrior clad in shadow, wielding power with unmatched prowess. This was the Shadow King, Jin's ancestor, whose legacy had been shrouded in mystery until this moment. But these visions were not merely glimpses into the past. They were fragments of the Shadow King's soul, his essence imprinted upon the sigil, reaching out across the chasm of time to connect with his descendant. In that profound realization, Jin felt a deep sense of connection, of purpose. He was not merely a hunter, nor simply a descendant of the Shadow King. He was the heir to a legacy, a lineage of power and responsibility. As the visions receded, leaving him shaken yet resolute, Jin stood tall before the shadow sigil, ready to embrace his destiny. The first step in his journey was complete, yet the path ahead remained shrouded in uncertainty. The discovery of the shadow sigil had opened a new chapter in Jin's life, one filled with both peril and promise. As he looked towards the horizon, his gaze firm with determination, he knew that his journey had just begun. The forgotten legacy of the Shadow King was now his to carry, and he would not falter. Meanwhile, at the Hunters Guild, the news of the Gatekeeper's defeat spread like wildfire, causing ripples of shock and disbelief among the assembled hunters. Whispers of the catastrophic damage to the city and the mysterious disappearance of the Shadow Walker known as Jin quickly filled the room, heightening the sense of unease and speculation. Among them was Iris, her heart pounding with worry as she learned about the destruction caused by the battle. Despite the guild's reassurances about Jin's strength, fear gnawed at her. She couldn't shake off the premonition that something was amiss. As days turned into weeks, the lack of Jin's return weighed heavily on Iris's mind. The guild, while acknowledging the danger he had faced, grew impatient with his prolonged absence. The pressure mounted, and they began to question whether the young Shadow Walker had chosen to abandon them, to disappear, rather than face his responsibilities. Amidst the mounting tension, Iris found herself increasingly isolated. Her friends, initially sympathetic to her concerns, were swayed by the prevailing sentiment and began to distance themselves. The weight of their judgment, real or imagined, pressed down on her, making each day a torment. As the whispers grew louder, Iris's resolve hardened. Determined to uncover the truth about Jin's disappearance, she decided to embark on a quest of her own. Leaving the stifling confines of the city, Iris ventured into the wilderness, her steps guided by the faint hope that Jin might have sought refuge in the untamed wilds. Her journey was fraught with peril, but she pressed on, her spirit unbroken. Driven by her unwavering belief in Jin's innocence and haunted by the premonition that something was terribly wrong. Back at the Hunters Guild, a sense of unease had settled in. The absence of the Shadow Walker, coupled with the unprovoked attacks from the shadows, was unsettling. Whispers of discontent grew louder, and the seasoned hunters began to openly question the leadership's strategies. The council, aware of the brewing discontent, convened an emergency meeting. Tensions were high, and the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on their shoulders. As they grappled with devising a solution, the somber atmosphere was palpable. Amidst the grim deliberations, a lone figure stood out, radiating an air of quiet confidence. It was none other than Iris, who, despite her young age, had earned a reputation for her courage and sharp intellect. In a bold move, Iris stepped forward, her voice ringing with conviction as she shared her insights on Jin's disappearance and the recent attacks. Her words were carefully considered, and she presented her ideas with a maturity that belied her years. At first, her suggestions were met with skepticism, challenged by the jaded cynicism of the seasoned hunters. However, as Iris eloquently defended her points, weaving together the seemingly disparate occurrences, a hush fell over the room. Slowly but surely, she was turning the tide, planting seeds of doubt in the hardened hearts of the council members. As Iris continued, the room grew silent, save for the occasional murmur of agreement. For the first time in weeks, a glimmer of hope pierced the gloom. In a surprising turn of events, the council, recognizing the validity of Iris's arguments, made a collective decision. They would mount a search party, venturing into the Shadowlands to seek Jin's whereabouts. As the hunters prepared for the perilous journey, a renewed sense of determination filled the air. The whispers of discontent had subsided, replaced by a shared purpose. They were not just going on a mission, they were bringing home one of their own. And leading this mission was none other than Iris, a testament to the impact of her courage and quick thinking.
Back in the Shadowlands.
Jin was grappling with the revelations brought forth by the Shadow Sigil. The memories and experiences of his ancestors were not just a historical record. They were a connection to a powerful lineage that had shaped the very fabric of the Shadowlands. As he delved deeper into these ancestral echoes, Jin discovered that the Shadow King wasn't just a legendary warrior. He was a visionary leader, a ruler who had forged alliances with some of the most powerful beings in the realm. These newfound revelations were both a blessing and a curse. While they granted Jin insight into the immense potential of his lineage, they also unveiled a web of complex relationships and obligations. He realized that he wasn't just a solitary hunter. He was the representative of a royal bloodline, and his actions had far-reaching consequences. As he navigated these complex dynamics, Jin found himself at a crossroads. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, demanding that he balance his personal journey with the expectations of his heritage. With the weight of his lineage upon his shoulders, Jin resolved to rise to the challenge. He knew that the true test of his strength wasn't just in defeating monsters. It was in upholding the legacy of his ancestors, while forging his own path. And so, armed with the wisdom gleaned from the past and the determination to forge his own future, Jin stepped forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. His journey had taken an unexpected turn, but he was determined to make his mark on the Shadowlands, not just as a hunter, but as the heir to the Shadow King's bloodline. And thus, Episode 6 of Shadowborn, Rise of the Forgotten, came to an end, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, eager to see how Jin would navigate the complexities of his newfound heritage. The discovery of the Shadow Sigil had not only unlocked a portal to the past, but also opened a treasure trove of challenges and responsibilities. As the story reaches this pivotal point, one thing is clear: Jin's journey has just begun. The coming episodes promise to be filled with thrilling adventures, intense battles, and unexpected twists. So stay tuned, because the Shadowlands hold many secrets yet to be revealed, and Jin's story is far from over. Thank you for watching, and if you want to be among the first to know when new content is released, don't forget to join our community.